Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has given us unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure or admire an old one. What will we find today? Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
One Sunday after church, when I was young, my parents and I drove out into the country to a restaurant someone had told us about, a folksy little place in an old schoolhouse. We enjoyed our meal, but when it came time to pay, my dad realized he'd forgotten his billfold. Now, this was by no means the first or last time that would happen, so Mom rolled her eyes, reached for her purse, and realized that she did not have enough money to cover the bill. She only had a couple of ones. What would we do? Now, this was either before credit cards or this place didn't accept them. We were about 45 minutes from home, banks were closed, and they didn't have ATMs. As my mother and I worried about this, the waiter approached. Calmly, my dad reached into his inner suit jacket pocket, drew out a sealed envelope, and pulled out a crisp $20 bill. Now, back then, you could cover a meal for 3 with a 20. My mom and I stared at him, stunned. Where did that money come from? Dad had done the sound system for a wedding one day, who knows how long before, and the couple had given him an envelope. He stuck it in his pocket without opening it, and he'd suddenly remembered it was there, just when he needed it. We drove home praising God for His provision. I'm reminded of that story when I read verses like Genesis 8:1, when God remembered Noah amid the floodwaters covering the earth. Or in Genesis 30, verse 22, when God remembered Rachel and gave her a son after years of watching her sister have children. Or in Exodus 2:24, where it says that God heard the children of Israel groaning and remembered His covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, it wasn't that God had forgotten them. Really, it was just the opposite. He was waiting until just the right time. Only when God's timing is perfect will He act, no matter how antsy that we get about it. And usually God has everything in the works for years before He acts. He had prepared Moses in such a special way to be the one to lead the people out of Israel. He wasn't about to move until Moses was in place. My favorite story about God remembering is with Joseph in Genesis 40. Through no fault of his own, Joseph ended up in Egypt, first as a slave and then as a prisoner, accused of a crime he didn't commit. While in prison, he interpreted dreams of 2 of Pharaoh's top servants. To the one that he knew would return to his position, Joseph told him, "Remember me when all is well with you, and please show me kindness. Make mention of me to Pharaoh, and get me out of this place." But a few verses later we read, "Yet the chief butler did not remember Joseph, but forgot him." How depressing that must have been for Joseph. But God wasn't ready to use him yet, and needed him to be exactly where he was, in prison. In the next chapter, the chief butler remembers Joseph when Pharaoh has a dream, and then things really start to happen in Joseph's life. If God allowed the chief butler to remember Joseph sooner, he wouldn't be exactly where he needed to be. Just like that envelope would not have been in my dad's pocket the day we needed it if he'd remembered to take it out before. The money would have done us no good had it been in his billfold where he would have put it. Maybe today you feel like you've been forgotten on the backside of nowhere. Maybe you're in a dead-end job. Maybe you're at home with your kids. Maybe you're retired and feeling purposeless. Maybe you're a caretaker for a loved one, or you're the loved one being taken care of. Please know that you are valuable to God. He sees, He knows, He has a purpose for this time in your life. And at just the right time, He'll use you however He sees fit. Until now, may you be exactly where He wants you.
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. We'd love to hear the treasures God has given you through His Word. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you can find in the description below. Thank you for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.